There are three things that most people are looking for when they come to us and they want to build a no BS agency: profit, freedom, and ease. And while we are here to teach our clients, our students, the world through all of this content, how to build a business that has more profit, freedom, and ease in it, we can give you all the strategies, all the tactics, all the action plans until you're blue in the face, and they won't get you the full freedom, ease, profit that you're looking for if you don't make some critical mindset shifts. So this month, I'm going to talk about those critical mindset shifts that you need to make if you want to become the kind of business owner that owns a no BS agency. So let's get into it. Today, I want to talk about profit. What are the three mindset shifts that you need to make if you want to make more profit in your 1 to 2 person branding agency? If you've been running your business for even just a couple of months or maybe years or even decades, and you still feel underpaid and overworked, believe me, you are not alone. It is very rare that I meet a very small business like this that says, oh yeah, I am paid plenty of money and I make tons of profit. Now, what do I mean by profit? I mean that you make enough to live, and actually more than enough to live. You have a surplus of money that you make every year because there's extra money for you to invest in your future, invest in retirement, invest in things that are going to grow your money and grow your wealth in the future, and also have money left over to enjoy your life. That's what profit looks like. Now, I define profit inside a no BS agency as making that amount of money that you determine you need to make to be profitable in less than 50% of your working hours time. That means loosely, if you were working 50 weeks a year, then every month you would have 4 weeks to work, let's just say, and 2 of those weeks would be dedicated to client work, and you would make enough money in 2 weeks a month all year to pay for all of your expenses, plus a surplus for your future, for your investments, and to enjoy those extras in life that you want. And in order to be profitable, you actually have to know how profitable all of your projects and your work are. And in order to be profitable, you actually have to understand how profitable all of your projects are and how profitable each individual project is, because this is going to allow you to make decisions going forward about what projects you should and shouldn't take. So let's dive into it. What are the 3 mindset shifts you must make if you want to have a profitable business? Mindset shift number 1, charging more doesn't mean that you need to work more hours. Have you ever raised your prices for a client and it's the most you've ever charged? And then as soon as you do that, you start adding in more deliverables or adding time onto your plate because you feel like this person is paying me more than I've ever received, so I've got to give them even more because of it. That is your old mindset thinking. That is your old mindset talking. That's employee mentality, where you are tying your worth to hours. Inside our program, No BS Agency Mastery, I am constantly reminding some of my best students that they can raise their prices and not add more time to the project. Why? Because we don't charge based on hours. We charge based on value. So once you are using and charging value-based pricing, then it is no longer tied to how many hours you're working. But that is a huge mindset shift that you need to make, because until you make that mindset shift, every time you raise your price, you're going to increase the number of hours you work, or you're going to add more stuff so that you feel okay about it. But profitability is all about being able to raise those prices while decreasing the number of hours you work. Because profitability really comes down to when you are a small service business, a 1 to 2 person branding agency, where you are actually showing up to deliver the project yourself. So it is your hours that you're selling. Profitability really comes from how much money can I charge and how few hours can I work. Now, it doesn't mean that we want to work so few hours that we don't deliver value, right? Because we are charging based on value. So we want to deliver our highest value possible. We just want to do it in as few hours as possible. So based on that logic, we have to be able to raise our prices without just continuing to bloat the project timeline, or else we're not getting more profitable. And in fact, often we're getting less profitable. Mindset number 2, higher priced projects are not inherently worth more. And in fact, the highest priced projects are often worth less. I cannot tell you how many times students come into Agency Mastery and they go through our freedom calculator process, where we get them to input a bunch of numbers about their expenses, their living expenses, their dreams for how they want to live, and then put their prices and the time that they spend on these projects. And our freedom calculator actually pops out information about how profitable their projects are. And I cannot tell you how many times we find out that their most expensive, their highest price project is actually their least profitable project. Why do we always do this? Well, usually it's because small business owners don't go into business because they're business minded necessarily. You probably didn't become a branding agency because you wanted to start a business and you thought, ooh, a branding agency would be a good business for me to start. No. You started it because you're creative, because you're a strategist, because you were doing copy and, marketing at a company, and maybe you decided to go out on your own. You didn't bring any sort of business know-how to the table. So what that translates to is if two clients are sitting in front of you and one of them has a $3,000 project and one of them has a $30,000 project, what do you think? You think, well, obviously, the $30,000 project is the better one, right? Because it's 10 times as much. If you are thinking in profitability, then you would ask, well, how long is that $3,000 project going to take compared to that $30,000 project? Because again, back to the freedom calculator, if you put your numbers into our freedom calculator and assess the profitability of the different kinds of projects that you do, you may very well find out that that $30,000 project is taking all of your time and is actually so unprofitable that you couldn't possibly hit the numbers that you need to hit by doing those $30,000 projects. And side note, that's exactly what happened to me. We were selling $30,000 projects back in 2013, 2014, and it landed us in debt. Why? Because we were selling these high-priced projects, but they were taking us so long to deliver that they were actually largely unprofitable. And when we switched to our no BS model and we started selling $3,000 intensives, we started making bank because $3,000 delivered in a day was way more profitable than selling a $30,000 project that took us so many hours, so many months, 4 people, right? 2 employees and me and Steve all working on this project. It was incredibly unprofitable. Of course, I didn't know it at the time. I know it now. And now I am waving the flag to everyone else who doesn't know this because it is a game changer and it's a huge mindset shift if you want to have a more profitable business. And the third mindset shift that you need to know if you want a more profitable business, you want more profit, is that you are better off saying no to these unprofitable projects. Now, I don't know about you, but if somebody had asked me back in 2014, do you want the $3,000 or the $30,000 project? I would have laughed in their face and said, what do you mean? Of course I want the $30,000 project. Who would say no to that? I'll tell you who would say no. Somebody who's thinking about profitability. Because even though you may say, yeah, but $30,000 in my bank account right now, that's going to solve all of my problems for now. Well, is it going to solve your problems? Once you take on that project, assuming that project is much more unprofitable than your $3,000 project. Once you take that project on, now you're all wrapped up in this project for quite a long time. If this is an unprofitable project, you may end up spending an incredible amount of time working on this project, an incredible amount of energy managing this project. And do you know what you're not doing when you are going around in circles on this very unprofitable project? You're not working with other clients who were way more profitable. Maybe you could have done 15 $3,000 projects in the time that you did that $30,000 project. Maybe you could have spent some of that extra time working on your business, building your pipeline, creating your marketing, getting better at your message, all the things that are going to make your business valuable long-term. You are foregoing the ability to do that when you take on unprofitable projects. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't ever take on unprofitable projects. If you are somebody who is in a desperate need for cash, there are plenty of situations where you might be in dire straits, you don't have any credit or cash available to you, and you need to pay bills. That's a time to take on an unprofitable project because we need to get to the next step. But outside of that, if you understand your profitability and you understand the different options and things that you can sell, you are almost always better off saying no to an unprofitable project regardless of the price tag than you are saying yes because it sounds like a big shiny number. Making these 3 mindset shifts are an incredible leap forward for you if you want to build a profitable no BS agency. And if these are mindset shifts that you're like, you sound crazy, I can't imagine thinking that, or yeah, I want to have that mindset shift, but how do I make that shift? I can't just poof, magically think differently. Well, that's why we have this training program. That's why we have this community of people who are all at various stages of making these mindset shifts because they don't happen overnight. It doesn't just happen from one day to the next. Sometimes it does when you have an aha moment, but even then you might have the awakening and then kind of slowly shift back into that habit until you have it again. So there's a real value in being around a bunch of people who are also making these shifts and growing in these ways. There's a real value in being around people who are also taking the same training, building the same kind of business, and on the same mission, right? You guys are all on the same journey together with an ultimate goal of having more profit, freedom, and ease. And that's who's inside our community at No BS Agency Mastery. So if that's something that you're interested in, you want to hear a little bit more about it, go to nobsagencies.com/program. Check out the video on that page. See if this model sounds like something you're interested in potentially putting into your business. And if it is, click the link below and book a call. all. Our team is here to help you figure out if this is something that would be a good fit for you, if this is something that we think you could apply with relative ease, and if now is the time for you to take that big leap forward so that you're no longer hustling, never making enough money, but you're on the path to making a much more profitable business that is gonna light you up and excite you and give you the life that you want. That's all I've got for you today. I will talk to you next week.